How are you doing, gents? It's Tuesday and I'm in Huddersfield, and I wanted to share some insights that I had last night. Actually, when I was turboing, I was watching a really interesting video on YouTube, like I often do when I'm training, and it was an interview with Simon Sinek, and he described it as sitting in the mud. And the sort of premise around this was, when's the last time you just sat in the mud with somebody? And this is something that came up in my coaching with myself and with my wife. And by that it means we live in a world where we constantly feel we've got to offer a response or advice. So if my kids are asking me or explaining something that's gone on, I feel like I need to step in and tell them what to do and tell them how to solve this problem. I do it really poorly with my wife as well. She'll explain a situation, a problem, a frustration, and I will immediately go into sort of problem solving mode. What advice can I offer? How can I make her life easier? And when I started to hear about this idea last night, it was just really sort of insightful, because it turns out that we need to sit in the mud more often than not. And actually, I find myself doing this with my wife more, but also with my son Bear, who's been away playing basketball with essentially what is the England Aspire program. And he was very mad and frustrated, and he lost his shit yesterday at the end of the session. Just got very frustrated and got upset and was crying. And we started to have a conversation about it. And he was telling me how he was feeling and what was going on. And I immediately wanted to step in. In fact, I probably did step in. Not as much as I normally do, but I stepped in with advice. Well, this is what you could do, or this is how to be better. But actually what he needed me to do was just sit there in the emotion and sit in the mud with him. So my thoughts for you today are, when was the last time you sat in the mud? And 3 areas you can probably sit in the mud a little more. One with your kids, definitely. One with your partner. And maybe one with your friends. I recognise this now, that we're offering lots of advice, and actually that might be what the people need, but maybe not what they want in that moment in time. So what you can do is you can say, do you want me just to listen, or would you like some feedback or my perspective? Let them tell you, because what we are often really, really good at understanding is we know what we want. So if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I know if I want their advice, or if I just want to vent or have a little rant or be in my emotions. So ask the question, ask your wife, your partner, your kids, do you want me just to listen? Or would you like me to give you some feedback? And we are allowed to go back and revisit these things as well. You don't have to have it all sorted in one foul swoop. You get to go back and have the conversation with your kids and your wife again. But yeah, have a think this week about where and when you can sit in the mud and who with, and maybe share in the comments your experiences of sitting in the mud, whether it's good or bad. I really am excited to hear what you guys have got to say. And thanks for listening, guys.